Today's episode is brought to you by Mazars. SoundCartel. Selling your business can be stressful and time-consuming, with many moving parts to manage if you want to achieve the best possible outcome. And are you really ready to take it on yourself? From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. After years of experience in steering companies through the sales process, John Blight, consultant to the Financial Advisory Division at Mazars, is in no doubt that external advisors can be a tremendous help. There are dangers, he says, to a DIY approach, which can lead to disappointing outcomes or no sale at all. So, you've decided to sell, but is your business sale ready? And what do you need to make sure that it is? John Blight is talking to Heather Dawson.
What you want to ensure is that the business can continue to operate as efficiently without you as it does with you. So if you make yourself as a business owner disposable, that's a really good position to be in. And that's a really great litmus test. So how do you get to that point? Having good systems, good people, good processes in place, that the business just operates whether or not you are in charge or not as a business owner. Having plans for future around its prospects and growth, and that are clearly articulated, properly costed, and properly considered, so that an investor or a buyer can look at those plans and know that they are properly considered, realistic, and achievable. I think as a personal business owner, you would also need to be well acquainted with the taxation implications of a potential sale, and make sure that you've been structured in such a way, or you have structured yourself for an optimal sale outcome. The worst thing would be to get yourself to a position to sell only to have adverse tax consequences. And I think that overarching principle as well is understanding the market activity and having received some sound advice along the way as to what your business is really worth based on the market conditions at the time.
Well, John, you suggest that business owners intent on selling their businesses would be wise to consider using a corporate advisor. So why do you say that, and what are the big dangers of going it alone?
It's an interesting question, and I'll use the context of a business owner that probably is also a house owner. If a person comes to sell their house, in the main, most people have no hesitation in whatsoever in engaging an agent to assist with selling their house. And why do they do that? Because those people are experts in selling real estate. They know the market. They have networks to attract buyers and create competitive tension to maximise price outcomes. Well, the same principles absolutely apply to a business, and in fact are probably magnified, because in most cases, business is going to be worth considerably more than real estate. So why use an advisor? I'd put it down to probably three things. Business owners have got to continue to run their business as if it's business as usual. Running a transaction, a sale, is distracting, and taking your eye off the ball in relation to the business operations can have adverse consequences if the transaction doesn't occur. One of the main things as well of why to use an advisor is to have that, what I would call a circuit breaker when negotiating an outcome. It's easy to get a result when emotion is taken out of the picture. Business owners are very proud of their businesses, as they should be, and therefore any negative comments received in a negotiation, whether or not they are put forward by a buyer strategically or they're actually based on their valid assessment, can be very harmful in terms of how a vendor responds, especially if the response is directed to them and not through an intermediary. So therefore, taking that emotion out of the picture is very important. And then thirdly, whilst a one-on-one scenario of a buyer negotiating with a seller may be affected by a business owner by themselves, creating competitive tension and therefore the best outcome, the best price, is very difficult to do as a business owner. And to have multiple buyers simultaneously asking a series of questions and negotiating is very, very difficult and can be very, very stressful. And therefore, having an advisor and an advisor team is quite important in actually maximising an outcome.
Do you think also, John, that sellers have, sometimes unrealistic expectations, not only about the time it might take to find the right buyer, but also around price and value?
It's a very good question because in my experience especially in the private company market, quite often the buyer finds the seller rather than the other way around. So these opportunistic approaches put the vendor on the back foot in the first instance. So rarely do you experience a vendor who is initially realistic about therefore timeframes and value, because someone's come to them, knocked on the door, here's an offer, and it's going to take 5 minutes and we'll get this all done. What a vendor or a business owner at that point in time needs to understand is that before that offer or that approach has been made, that buyer will have most likely had an advisor team involved and done a lot of due diligence in advance of making that approach. They're generally sophisticated, the profile of those organisations, and the homework that they have done to that point puts them well and truly on the front foot and the vendor on the back foot. So there's not a position of equals. So I think that being able to take a breath and actually at that point in time say, look, I just need to run this past my advisor is a sound option at that point in time to actually get some advice on, okay, is this the right thing to do? Is this the right party to be talking to? Should I be looking at more broadly? And what's realistically the time frame that's going to be involved? Because notwithstanding you've got this approach, you've got to work on the basis that things will go awry during a process, and you don't need to think too further back than last year when COVID arose globally to think that you could be in the middle of a transaction, COVID arises, what happens next?
Do you think sellers sometimes underestimate the difficulties of juggling the transaction while still running the business?
Juggling business and selling is very intensive, and it's you've got a full-time role running the business. You've got a full-time role perhaps for a limited period of time, but nonetheless it is a full-time role for selling the business. So therefore, if you're trying to manage two full-time roles, it's very, very difficult. What makes it almost impossible is if you've got multiple buyers involved in let's call it an auction process, and engaging with multiple buyers that will be coming at an analysis of the business in different ways and managing all of their expectations with also running the business and ensuring that you're not losing any value in the business is very, very difficult. And it is something that can be quite underestimated by business owners if they feel that they've got it under control. So I think that a one-on-one situation a business owner might be able to manage, not necessarily to maximise a value outcome, but once there becomes multiple bidders interested in the asset, it becomes almost impossible.
Well, it can be a very emotional time, I imagine. And it's said, John, that a problem shared is a problem solved. So, for sure there must be value in being able to talk through complex issues with a third party who can bring some perspective to the whole thing.
I think a great example of that for me was not that long ago. I was working with a company on a sale of their business. A series of events occurred impacting the buyer, and they were market issues, which therefore caused the buyer some reticence to proceed with the transaction. And they were about 3 months into working on completing this transaction, and so they decided to cease the transaction process. This devastated my client. What I was able to do was actually sit down with the client and say, let's look at the situation, let's look at the issues that are confronting the buyer and come up with some options that we might be able to still continue with the transaction but in a different way. And we worked through, and we actually spent a weekend actually with the management team and the board working through some different options and came up with what was the most palatable for the business owners. And then we presented that back to the buyer, and we were able to re-engage, and we were actually able to complete the transaction as a consequence. And I think that that's a great example of that problem shared, is that not necessarily any one person or any has the right answer, but collectively with a problem on how do we resolve the problem, you can work through and actually create a pathway to actual execution.
Well, final question, John. Any final thoughts from you about this question of selling your business?
Thank you very much. I do have a few final thoughts. Don't wake up one morning as a business owner and say, I'm selling today. That's not a sound way of making a decision. Plan and overplan in relation to what do you want and when do you want it and how are you going to get it. Use an advisor for many reasons, and I would say spreading the load, sharing the problems, having a fresh approach, creating competitive tension if it gets to that point, and creating a circuit breaker between the buyer or buyers and the vendor to achieve the outcome that you're seeking. I believe that those tips will assist with a business owner being able to achieve a successful outcome.
That was John Blight, consultant to the Financial Advisory Division at Mazars. This episode of Business Essentials Daily is produced by the team at SoundCartel. Thanks for listening. I'm Nicole Goodman. We'll bring you more Be Daily tomorrow. Follow @BE Daily Podcast across social media and head to bedaily.com.au for more from the Business Essentials Daily podcast. SoundCartel. This episode was brought to you by Mazars. To find out more, visit mazars.com.au. That's mazars.com.au.